Here we are at the video game corner in Corinth, right?
Corinth, Mississippi.
And I'm here with an absolute legend in the retro gaming, video gaming, collecting community, Austin, the man behind the best convention in the Southeast, or probably honestly, maybe one of the best conventions in the country, Southeast Game Exchange. And speaking of Southeast Game Exchange, you might have a little disclaimer for the folks watching here.
So when you guys look around the shop today, we are still unpacking a lot from the show, and so it's going to look a little more bare than normal because we're just now getting back from the Southeast Game Exchange, and it was a great show. Thankfully, sold a lot. It was we're still trying to figure out what we've got, what we're bringing back, and get it back on the shelves.
Yeah, because Southeast Game Exchange was literally last weekend, and folks, if you haven't experienced a video game convention, you got to check out Southeast Game Exchange next year in 2025 in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, so we had a local artist who has just become pretty good friends of ours come in, and we wanted some sort of mural, something to grab people's attention. He kind of used his own little unique style. He loved doing it. It was a lot of fun kind of watching him. He did this over the course of like 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so it was fun to just kind of see parts of it come together and grow. It was fun.
So one thing that you have over here that kind of I'm always interested to ask folks like you that own game stores, got a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays kind of along this wall. So do you actually sell DVDs and Blu-rays? Do they do pretty well?
DVDs and Blu-rays are probably if you look at quantity of sales or any particular category, DVDs is probably our #1 selling.
No kidding.
We're in a very low income, middle income market out in the country, and so a lot of people still aren't using Netflix or even have good internet. So we're really the only place you can get it. And all of ours, we price everything for about as much, if not cheaper, than renting something from Redbox.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we sell a lot.
You know, accessories and controllers, and I like how you have them displayed in the bags and everything. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is an area that we're trying to kind of get away from. A lot of your third-party accessories don't tend to do too well.
Yeah.
And so taking this in over the last 4 or 5 years, and now we're kind of trying to consolidate, and we're not really taking this stuff in near as much, trying to, now that we've been in business as long as we've kind of gotten an idea of what really works for us in this area.
Yeah, you have the data that kind of helps.
And so this is an area that we're in the process of kind of clearing out. We've been running some clearance sales on some of this stuff.
Okay. This Nintendo 64 sign, so you've got an interesting story to share about that. You want to tell us about
Yeah,
it?
So about 2 months after we opened the store, there was a guy in Memphis, which was about an hour and a half away from our shop, who listed it on Facebook Marketplace and said that it was broken, but wanted a couple $100 for it. I immediately jumped on it and was like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't care if it works or not. It looks awesome.
Yes, it does.
We met about halfway. I picked it up and brought it back to the shop, and we opened it up to see if maybe we could fix it. Well, it was just missing a light bulb. So we ran over to Lowe's, grabbed a like $3 light bulb, came back, brought it in, and it immediately came up, and it works great.
So one common theme, I've done a lot of store tours up to this point, one common theme that I always hear, and I'm curious if it's the same for you, and that theme is their Switch games come in the door and go out the door.
Absolutely. Also, this is kind of one of those sections that we have stuff in the back that we haven't been able to put out just because we're taken to conventions and stuff. Yeah, we're always running like, hey, get a little extra for if you bring in a Switch game and stuff like that. But yeah, Switch games right now, Switch games and PlayStation 4 games are coming in and going out as quickly as they're coming in.
So the glass case here got a lot of handheld stuff. I'm assuming that you probably keep this in a glass case because these are so easy for people to pocket.
They're very small, they're easy for people to pocket. And displaying handheld games has probably been one of the larger challenges as a shop. because there's not really a good way to display them. I've seen people use the little books and stuff, and those they tend to fall out and stuff like that. And I've seen some that use that have different stands and stuff, but that tends to limit how many you can actually display if you're doing it on a stand. So
this works pretty well.
It's worked for us for right now, but we're, like I said, we're always looking to see if we can figure out a better way of displaying it. But yeah, this is what we've got.
Here we've got the Xbox, we've got the Xbox 360. So Xbox on one side.
And this is another situation where a lot of we're also, as like I was saying, we're coming back from the convention, but we're also trying to inventory our inventory right now. Like this case right here normally has a lot of our higher dollar items in it, and they're all back behind the counter right now because, like I said, we're going through this process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But no, we have a huge selection of Xbox games.
I see that.
And then 360 is another really popular console that we sell a lot of.
Xbox 360, for those of you watching who don't know, is on the rise right now in popularity and price.
Absolutely.
So now, if you're going to collect for the 360, you better do it now because things are going to get crazy real soon. What's up, everybody? I hope you're really enjoying today's game store tour. Before you click away and fast forward through this, I just want to quickly tell you one of the easiest and best ways you can support the RetroWolf channel. All you got to do is click the link down below to download the Goodiez app. Goodiez is a video game buying and selling app. You can log your collection, and you will eventually be able to also share your collection with other collectors. Free to download, free to create an account, then follow RetroWolf88 on Goodiez to find my account. Best way to support the channel right now. Shouldn't take long at all, and then poke around the app because you might just like it. All right, back to the game store tour. Whenever I was at Southeast Game Exchange, I brought my Wii U collection to the convention to try to trade for GameCube games.
Oh, okay.
And I had a hard time getting vendors, and I had some good high-end Wii U games, and I had a hard time getting vendors to do a trade because they were telling me that they don't sell Wii U games very much anymore.
Unless there is a collector that is collecting for the Wii U,
like for a full set or something.
Yeah, for a full set. It is it's a console that we don't sell hardly any Wii U stuff for.
Very odd.
We've had a number of Wii U consoles in stock that haven't moved. They sit there for a long time.
All right, so you got a good PS2, PS3 selection, and I've actually been shocked about the PS3 because I thought with the digital store shutting down and everything, the PS3 popularity would skyrocket, but it doesn't seem to be.
Nah, we have not seen it. We have not seen that be the case either, which is a shame. I really liked the PlayStation 3. That's the console that got me back into gaming from when I was a kid.
Oh wow!
I have a lot of fond memories of the PS3. Yeah. It seems like Xbox 360 is kind of the console that's on the rise right now. Yeah. So that one came in, I guess, gosh, I don't know, a year or so ago. Like I said, we don't have a big collector scene in this area. So
very oddball item.
It's one of those odd items that's just kind of been sitting here. I think it's really cool.
So how well do your loose cartridges do across these three consoles and the N64?
So our best is original NES.
Really?
Yeah, we have more.
Andy would be shocked to hear that because according to him, his store, they don't sell any NES games.
Really?
Yeah.
So we've definitely slowed down on the retro stuff, but when we do have people that come in to buy retro games, it's definitely the NES, which is sad because I'm much more fond of the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo's
and there's a lot of, well, in my opinion, a lot of really great games on that.
Absolutely.
And
You're
also,
not wrong.
I did not grow up with the Genesis, but have more recently gone back to start playing some of these old Genesis games.
A lot of great games.
That's also a really, really great console. So that's probably one of my favorite generations of gaming is the Super Nintendo and Genesis.
I know this might be shocking to hear, but you actually do have a really solid selection of GameCube games because, believe me, I go in a lot of GameCube game stores and most game stores, it's like maybe this many GameCube games.
Yeah, GameCube's really hard for us to get in.
Yeah.
And when we do get them in, it's they go out pretty quickly. Occasionally, we'll get a Master System in, and one person will buy it, and we'll buy a couple of games. But outside of that, that's also a section that unfortunately just kind of sits there.
Yeah.
So as a business, we're always trying to figure out, is this something that's worth keeping for that one random person that might walk in, or do we really need to look at changing it up and making it, putting product there that people are looking for. So it's always kind of a juggle, which it's a shame as a business owner, or as a video game, I guess, collector and enthusiast. I want to have a selection of for every single console, but then when it comes down to actually a business, it's like that would just mean that there's a lot of space in the shop that just doesn't ever get used, and so it's kind of a,
you have to make those business
exactly
decisions. Yeah. A lot of guys I've talked to that own these game stores, they tell me that their plushes actually do pretty well. Is it the same for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we started off and we had just like a tiny selection of plush, and people kind of didn't really get into it that much. Then another business owner I was talking with him, and he recommended really try to go bigger on it, and then you'll see the sales. And so we did, and so we used to have a whole wall, but we've rearranged some things, and now we've got these two, and they're even a little slimmer than what we normally have, just because, again, Southeast Game Exchange sold a lot of plush.
Oh, wow.
But no, plush does great for us. We've tried to stick to just Nintendo and Pokemon.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We do have a couple of other random stuff that we've tried in the past that we still have a little bit of, I guess, remains of, but everything we try to keep to being officially licensed.
Got a lot of consoles. I like how you do your consoles with the, I don't know, what do you even call that?
The shrink wrapping?
The shrink wrapping.
Yeah.
It's a great way to do it.
We do that, and we have to be very careful, because obviously with some of the sticks, we don't want there to cause any stick drift. So we teach our guys to be very, very careful, make sure that the sticks are in the right position before wrapping them, that they're not bent in any way.
Consoles do pretty well for you?
Consoles do very, very well. We have a hard time keeping consoles in stock.
Makes sense.
As soon as they're coming in, they turn around really, really quickly.
So tell me about this guy right here, this Donkey Kong plush, because that is amazing. Definitely vintage, definitely from the 80s, I'm assuming.
Yes,
like early
so
80s.
From my understanding, and the information on that is very limited, but it was one of Nintendo's first plushes they ever made. It was after the release of the Donkey Kong arcade cabinet, and they had 3 different sizes. You've probably seen some of the small ones. They're very uncommon, but you see them occasionally. There was a medium-sized one, and then this is the largest one that they've had. This is the only one I have ever seen, and I've been doing gaming cons and going to and have collected for many, many years. It is very, very, very uncommon. I don't know how many they made, but it is my favorite item in the shop.
Oh,
it is
super cool.
It's not for sale. Whenever this
sale.
shop is long and gone, that's going to be sitting at home with me.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Does it still have like a tag on it and everything?
It does have the tag, but
Pretty faded.
It's very faded.
Very faded, yeah.
Probably
1982 maybe?
1982. Yep.
82? Yeah.
1982.
That's too cool. Look at the Nintendo DS collection, because you guys know I've been going pretty hard on the DS here lately. See if there's any DS games that Austin has here in the store that I can add to the collection. So let's take a look here. All right, so I think I found one DS game to add to the collection. The Blob 2, it is complete, and it is only $7. Whoa! Well, Saturn Steve just randomly popped in my video and stole the game from me, so I guess...
I'll give it back. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good friend.
What are you doing here, man?
You know, just same thing as you.
Well, good to see you, Mr. Saturn.
Good to see you too, buddy.
I'm going to see you a lot this weekend, aren't I? And there goes my game. All right, so as you guys saw during the tour, Austin has a pretty solid selection of GameCube games. I don't think there's any here that I need for the collection though, unfortunately, and that's because I'm down to 33 games left for a complete collection, so it's getting harder and harder and harder for me to find games that I need. All right, so checking out the PS3 selection, killer PS3 selection. I got a PS3 recently because Marcello from GameCube Galaxy talked me into it. And I've always been curious about this game. The Lord of the Rings Aragorn's Quest, only $9, it's complete. It looks like a third-person action-adventure game where you play as Aragorn, and it looks pretty fun. I've always heard pretty good things about it. So if you've played this game, let me know in the comments down below, but I'm gonna go ahead and snag this too for the collection. Appreciate you letting me come in here and do a tour of the video game corner. If people want to learn more information about the Video Game Corner, is there anywhere they can find information?
You can find us on Facebook at Video Game Corner or Instagram at Video Game Corner as well.
Okay. I'll leave those links in the description. Folks, if you're in the Corinth, Mississippi area, passing through, or even if you live in the area, come check this game store out, support this man. He is a pillar in the community, and you gotta check out Southeast Game Exchange next year. It is, if you can only go to one convention in an entire year, that is the one to go to. It is worth traveling to, it's worth flying into.